Hello everyone, this is part 17 of What If Naruto Was Trained by Anko, and I hope you guys enjoy this video and to like and subscribe. To see more, comment down below. Now let's see. Kiba, Akamaru, Hinata and Sakura were on the move. Once they were out of the stadium, Kiba and Akamaru found the sense of their comrades. They could not move as fast as they wanted due to Hinata still recovering. Hinata was apologetic, but she told the two that she could fight. Her Byakugan was on and keeping a lookout for anyone. Suddenly Akamaru barked frantically. Kiba looked at his buddy with concern. Listening, his eyes went wide. "We've got a problem. We have a tail," Kiba shouted. The two girls looked at him with worry. "How far are they? How many are after us?" Hinata asked. Akamaru barked something to Kiba. Akamaru says that there are 9 in total. "We can't keep going in this direction. We'll lead him into the other S and we will be surrounded," Kiba explained. Sakura cursed at their dilemma. They couldn't lead these guys, who were probably Jonin, to their friends. "Okay, we have to do something to stop them. We probably don't have the advantage because of who the leader is, but I have a plan. Whatever we do, we have to stop them here," Sakura said. Kiba and Hinata nodded and listened to Sakura as she explained the plan. Once she finished, they turned and made their way into a different direction. It didn't take long for their trackers to learn that they had been discovered. They sped up and caught up to the Genin. They were surrounded by 8 of the men. Well, what do we have here? What should we do, boys? Should we teach this kid just how cruel war can be?" one of the men joked. The others chuckled at the man's words. They geared up for a fight. That's when one of them attacked and launched a punch at Kiba. He was shocked when his fist went right through him. Everyone was confused when they heard something. "Gatsuga," Kiba roared. 2 drills came at them with crushing speed. 2 men were hit hard and sent flying. They hit the tree and were knocked out. In the confusion, one of the men was dragged up to their head. Sakura quickly jumped out of the ground and knocked the man out. She turned around and ducked a punch. Sakura did a few seals and released a blast of chakra. It froze the man and Sakura quickly kicked him in the groin. Once he dropped to his knees, Sakura knocked him out with the ring of her kunai. Sakura turned to check on her friends. Hinata was easily dealing with the Jonin and Kiba with his partner was tearing this up. However, her distraction cost her when the 9th man came out of hiding. He pinned her to the ground and had his hands around her throat. Sakura struggled to escape, but he was too strong. She quickly felt around for something when her hand wrapped around the kunai she dropped. With a wild swing, she launched the kunai into the man. She felt something wet hit her face, but the hold on her neck was gone. Sakura was trying to get her breath back and put her hands to her neck. When she looked at the person who attempted to kill her, her eyes went wide. The kunai she used was lodged in the man's neck. Sakura could see the life leave his eyes. She looked at her hand and saw that they were stained with blood. It must have been what hit her in the face. Sakura froze up and was starting to freak out. That's when Asuma arrived. He quickly dealt with any remaining enemies and checked on the Genin. When he saw Sakura and the now dead body, Asuma quickly went over to her. "Sakura, Sakura," Asuma shouted. She shot up and looked at him. "Look at me. I need you to breath with me. Come on, in then out." Sakura did as she was told. Asuma pulled out a rag and quickly wiped the blood off her face. It didn't all come off, but at least she wasn't covered in it. "Okay, Sakura, I'm going to put you to sleep. Just relax." Sakura just nodded and allowed Asuma to place a small genjutsu on her. Sakura fell asleep and Asuma picked her up. Kiba took this time to look at the Jonin. "Is she going to be alright?" he asked. "That depends on her. Everyone has a different reaction to their first kill. We can only hope that she will pull through this," Asuma said. He looked at the 2 Genin. "We're heading back. What about the others?" Hinata asked. "We can only hope that they will regroup and retreat," Asuma said. When they were ready, they took off back to the village. The trio caught up to Sasuke and the Suna siblings. Temari and Kankuro were sweating bullets when they saw them. Sasuke looked at the group with a snarl. "What are you doing here?" Sasuke demanded. "We came to get you and return to the village. You have no idea the type of power that Gaara has. We have to leave this to someone I know that can contain him." Naruto said. "You losers can retreat if you want. I have a fight to finish." Sasuke said. "A fight to finish? Hey, this is no time to stroke your damn ego, Uchiha. There is an invasion going on and we need to get back to the village. That is more important than some damn match," Naruto roared. "Listen to him, Sasuke. This isn't the time," Shikamaru added. "Just stay out of my way," Sasuke shouted and launched himself toward Gaara. The three cursed and moved to help. Kankuro, who was holding Gaara, used one hand to get his puppet. Sasuke attempted to go around it but had to dodge the senbon. He went into hiding with Gaara. Temari unfolded her fan and swung it. All three genin were blasted away. Naruto summoned a clone and used it as a springboard to get above the wind. He did a few hand seals. Katen, Kyuden, Fire Release, Fire Dragon Bullet. Naruto blew out a stream of fire at Temari. Using her fan, she blew herself out of the way of the fire. She landed but quickly had to get out of the way as she saw that slacker's shadow. Shino used this distraction to attack Kankuro. The puppet user had to turn his attention to the bug user. Sasuke saw this but did not back Shino up. He looked around the area for Gaara. Back with the other two, Temari swung her fan hard. "Kamaitachi no Jutsu. Sickle Weasel Technique," she roared. Naruto and Shikamaru quickly ducked for cover as the wind passed by them. Naruto saw just how deep the wind blades were cutting. "She is seriously trying to kill us," Naruto said. "You think?" Shikamaru asked with a tone. "Hey, it's your fault that she's angry," Naruto shouted. "My fault? How is this my fault?" Shikamaru shouted back. "If you treated her like a shinobi instead of a girl, maybe she wouldn't be so angry with us. Don't give me that men don't hit women crap. In this world, even the girly can kill," Naruto said. "You are really blaming me for this?" Shikamaru demanded. Naruto was about to answer when he saw Temari. Shikamaru turned only to see the satisfied grin on her face. "Kamaitachi no Jutsu," she said and blasted the two away. They screamed as the wind blades tore into them. Temari smirked but it soon faded when they both dispelled. She cursed and quickly got off the ground, looking for a shadow. That's when she heard metal flying through the air. She twisted enough to avoid any critical damage but it did force her to release her fan. She landed on the side of a tree and saw Naruto coming at her. She looked to run when she felt a familiar feeling. She had no choice but to take the haymaker that Naruto landed on her face. Shikamaru released his shadow in time as Temari was sent flying onto the ground. She hit the ground with a thud and laid there. Naruto looked at Shikamaru. "Go and help Shino. I got this," Naruto said. Shikamaru nodded and went to help their teammate. Naruto landed on the ground just as Temari was struggling to get to her fan. When she was inches away, a kunai landed right in front of her. She looked up to see several of Naruto's clones. They were all armed and ready to take her out. "That's enough. Give up and I won't kill you," Naruto called out. Temari growled but she knew that she was beaten again. She placed her hands in front of her as a form of surrender. Meanwhile, Sasuke was still looking for Gaara. Shino was in a fight with Kankuro but he did not care. All he wanted was to finish his fight with Gaara. He kept his eyes out for the red head. That's when he heard his target. He saw Gaara, hand gripping his head. It was as if he was in complete pain. Sasuke did not care and made his move toward him. As he landed, he did a couple of hand seals. Katen, Gokakyu no Jutsu. Fire Release, Great Fireball Technique. Sasuke spat a flame right at Gaara. Gaara saw this and raised his hand. It quickly transformed in a large claw. The claw turned into a shield and blocked the attack. When Gaara lowered the shield, he looked at Sasuke with madness. "So you want to end my existence, Uchiha? You will have to do better." Gaara roared and unleashed his chakra. Half of his face was also transformed and a tail appeared from his gourd. With a roar, he charged after Sasuke. Back in the trees, Shino was beginning to fade. His distraction cost him. He saw Sasuke leap after Gaara and attempted to stop him. That's when he was hit with a poisonous smoke bomb. He inhaled some but was still able to fight. However, he was fading fast and he didn't know how much longer he would last. Lucky for him, his bugs managed to capture Kankuro and drain him of his chakra. Shino just did not have the energy to finish him off. Shikamaru arrived and knelt down to the Aburame. Naruto soon joined them with a tied-up Temari. Naruto looked at Shino and saw that he was not good. "Shino, where are you hit?" Naruto asked. "Inhaled poison, Hive can't get rid of it," Shino said. Handing Temari to Shikamaru, Naruto made his way to Kankuro. Kankuro had a little energy to attack but that was quickly stopped by Naruto. He took a kunai and slammed it into Kankuro's hand. The teen screamed out in pain. "You have until 5 to give me that antidote or I'm going to start stabbing. I'll start with your hands and end with your junk." 1, 2, Naruto started as he pulled out another kunai. Left pocket, Kankuro shouted. Naruto held the kunai to his neck and dug into his left pocket. He pulled out 2 vials, one purple, one green. Naruto glared at him and pushed the kunai more into his neck. The green vial. Naruto summoned a clone and gave him the vial. He made his way to Shino and had him drink it. Shino was lying on the branch but he could feel the liquid working. Shikamaru gave a positive signal to Naruto. The blonde removed the kunai from Kankuro's neck and pulled the kunai free from Kankuro's hand. That's when something landed right next to the two with a thud. It was Sasuke and he was all beat up. He had those marks going up his face again but it did not look like he would be fighting. Something else landed near to them. When the dust settled, Kankuro and Temari were scared. Shikamaru was too, as was Naruto. Gaara looked ready to rip someone apart. He was looking at Sasuke with a crazed look. "We need to get out of here, now," Temari exclaimed. Gaara roared and charged at the fallen Sasuke. Naruto quickly squashed his fear and did hand seals. "Doton, Yomi Numa, Earth Release, Swamp of the Underworld," Naruto called out. A large swamp appeared and Gaara was stopped in mid-stride. As he attempted to get out, Naruto's clone had finished a set of seals of his own. "Suten, Daibakufu no Jutsu, Water Release, Great Waterfall Technique," the clone shouted. The water twisted and launched itself at Gaara. Gaara was swept up on the vortex and carried deeper in the forest, slamming through trees. The two watched as the jutsu ended but could not see Gaara. Naruto looked at Shikamaru before doing the seal for the Kage Bunshin, Shadow Clone. He summoned 2 clones. "You 3, get everybody out of here. I'll give you time," Naruto ordered. They nodded and grabbed Sasuke, Kankuro and Shino. Shikamaru looked at his friend. "Naruto, what are you doing?" Shikamaru shouted. "I know more about this than you. That isn't going to slow down Gaara. I'll cover your escape," Naruto said. Shikamaru looked ready to argue but Naruto cut him off. "Don't, I'll be fine. Just get the others to safety and find a guy named Jiraiya. Now, go," Shikamaru growled but he grabbed Temari and took off with the other clones. Naruto made sure that they were gone before turning around. He knew that Gaara was making his way toward him. He could feel it. He flicked out 2 kunai and got ready for a fight. Chapter 34. Naruto stood at the ready and waited. He did not have to wait long as Gaara stepped out. Naruto realized that Gaara was using the power of his Biju. He looked a lot like a tanuki with 2 large claws and a long tail. Naruto could see that he was only able to take this form thanks to his sand. The beast glared at Naruto with nothing but murder in his eyes. "I will kill you," Gaara snarled. Naruto settled in and prepared himself for battle. "You aren't the first and you won't be the last. You want me, come and get me," Naruto exclaimed. With a roar, Gaara charged at him. Shikamaru had Shino on his back while the 3 clones carried Sasuke, Kankuro and Temari. Shikamaru turned his head to look behind him. While he was no sensor, he could feel that the battle had begun. He was worried about his friend, fighting that monster. You should be worried about your friend. Gaara is a force of destruction that can't be stopped. That's why he was our trump card in this invasion. Your friend doesn't stand a chance, Kankuro said weakly. He suddenly was struck by a branch as the clone was moving along. He glared at the clone who just smirked. It's you that doesn't know anything. Naruto is the most unpredictable ninja that Konoha has. He is also the little brother of one of Konoha's most crazy kunoichi alive. Combine the two and you have one of the most dangerous people alive. Especially since Naruto does not know the word restraint, Shikamaru said. The moment he said that, the group felt the explosion. They turned to see a mushroom-shaped cloud coming from where the two were fighting. Shikamaru turned back to the two siblings and smirked. Who doesn't stand a chance now? The rest of the trip was in silence as both group were hoping that the other were okay. Anko saw the mushroom cloud from the shelter. There was only one person that could create something like that. She was a little worried because Naruto only went so far when he was fighting someone stronger than him. Anko steeled herself and just focused on protecting the people here. As much as she wanted to go to his side, she would not abandon those that needed her. Take care of yourself, Otouto, little brother. Just don't go too crazy. Naruto landed on a tree branch and looked at the fire. A silhouette was seen from within the flames and out stepped Gaara. Naruto could see that some of that sand was kind of melted, but it was quickly reforming. Well, I didn't think that would work. Still, I have some options, Naruto thought. He pulled out two kunai and ran down the tree. Gaara charged as well, looking ready to rip Naruto apart. Gaara launched his claw forward, but Naruto dodged and slashed at Gaara. Gaara counter with another swipe, but Naruto ducked out of the way and slashed into Gaara again. For the next couple of minutes, that was how the fight was. Gaara was not getting a clean shot and Naruto's kunai were not getting through the sand. While Naruto suspected this would happen, he was not worried. He was looking for a weakness in the sand. Naruto jumped away when Gaara slammed his tail down. Naruto did some seals and landed on the side of the tree. Katen, Ruka no Jutsu. Fire release, dragon fire technique, Naruto shouted. He was surrounded by fire and 5 flaming dragons split off and attacked. Gaara raised his claws and clashed with the flaming dragons. After taking out the 5th one, Gaara launched an attack of his own. Suna Shuriken, Gaara roared and launched several sand-shaped shuriken at him. Naruto used his agility to avoid the attack and launched 2 kunai at him. They hit Gaara and soon exploded, rocking Gaara back. Naruto pushed his advantage, kicking Gaara in the face with his 2 feet. Gaara growled and grabbed Naruto's feet with his tail. He slammed Naruto on the ground hard. He did it 2 more times before flinging him across the field. Naruto hit a tree hard. Gaara launched his claw forward and it extended. It slammed into Naruto and pinned him to the tree. With a grin, Gaara crushed Naruto only to see him vanish in a puff. Doton, Shinju Zanshu no Jutsu. Earth release, double suicide decapitation technique, a voice from below called out. Gaara growled as he was dragged underground to his head. Above him, Naruto did a seal and a group of explosion ripped the ground apart. When the smoke cleared, Gaara's sand was now a mess. His tail was gone and it was nothing but goop. Naruto must have finally hit his weak spot. Naruto wasn't about to let him recover. Taju Kage Bunshin no Jutsu. Mass shadow clone technique, the skies were covered by clones. With a roar, they all attacked. Gaara was bombarded with blows from all angles. He was taking a serious beating and he could not believe that he was losing. This person before him was nobody, a regular person. He should not be making this hard for him. He should have killed him already. Why was he challenging his existence? His thoughts allowed Naruto to blast him with uppercut. Gaara hit a tree hard. He struggled to stand and looked on as Naruto's clones charged forward. You will not deny my existence, Gaara roared. He unleashed his chakra and sand began to gather. Several of Naruto clones were destroyed as Gaara grew bigger. When the dust cleared, Naruto and his remaining clone were looking up at a building-sized tanuki. Gaara appeared on top of its head and looked down at Naruto. Now you die. Ibiki, Shikamaru and the people nearby watched as the tanuki was trying to smash something below him. Shikamaru looked on with wide eyes. He then looked at Ibiki. We need to get over there. That's where Naruto is, Shikamaru said with urgency. The two siblings of Gaara were there as well. That's not possible. How can that shorty push Gaara to this? Temari asked loudly. Ibiki looked at two members of the Anbu. You two, go and help Naruto Uzumaki. Ibiki ordered. They nodded and were gone. He's going to need more than two guys, Shikamaru shouted. If you haven't noticed, we are still in the middle of an invasion. We are making ground, but they have not retreated yet. Two is all I can send now. Do not worry, those two are the best we have. That's when he noticed another Anbu look into the distance. Ibiki-senpai, we have a situation. The man said. What is it? Ibiki asked. Well, Anko-senpai is actually making her way toward the area. She will reach Naruto before our team members will. He said. Damn it, she must have seen it from in the shelters. Ibiki said with a groan. He then turned to Shikamaru. All right, you are to go to the shelter and take Anko's place. We will take care of your captives. Yes. Shikamaru said and took off. Ibiki turned back toward the rampaging demon and prayed for the bratty blonde's safety. Naruto slammed against the tree hard. He slumped to his butt and groaned in pain. The fight had taken a very big turn. He had attempted to fight the beast with his remaining clones, but they were wiped out in seconds. He tried to escape, but he realized that Gaara would have come after him. He tried to use a clever trap, leading the beast into a large minefield, but that failed, and now he was in this situation. He had to do something or else he was going to die. It's over, Uzumaki. You will pay for the pain that I've felt. Sabaku-Q, Sand Coffin, Gaara called out. Sand began to snake up around Naruto. Naruto was thinking fast on a way to combat this. That's when he remembered what he learned when the pervert trained him for the exams. Focusing and remembering that feeling from before, Naruto took some blood from his wound and quickly did the seals he was taught. Kuchiyoza no Jutsu. Summoning Jutsu, Naruto shouted. A huge clump of smoke appeared. When it cleared, Naruto was standing on the head of Gamabunta. The large toad blew out some smoke before turning his attention to Naruto. You again? What do you want this time? Gamabunta demanded. Listen, I know that I was a rude little prick when we first met. You were dissing me and you insulted me just because I had the scent of snakes on me, even after I explained to you why. I shouldn't have mouthed off and insulted your family. However, I would like to put our issues aside and deal with the large problem in front of us. Naruto explained. Gamabunta looked forward and saw the sand creature. He blew out a smoke of annoyance. You blondes and your demons. So what are you suggesting, boy? That I help you in fighting this thing? Gamabunta asked. Yeah, help me this one time. After that, we can go back to pissing each other off. Naruto said. Very well. For the record, I do not hate you because you had the smell of snakes. I also appreciate that you admit to your shortcomings. However, this does not make you my underling, got it? Careful, boss, that almost sounds like praise. Naruto said with a chuckle. Gamabunta snorted in amusement before launching himself at the Shukaku. When Shikamaru arrived, he saw that everyone was looking at the window. Even Iruka was looking outside. He was about to say something, when he looked out the window of the safe house too. What he saw was something he could not believe. What? What is going on? Shikamaru asked in surprise. I really don't know. We were watching that thing smash the ground beneath him. Suddenly, that large toad arrived in a plume of smoke. I know that toad. It is the same toad that was used by the Yondawa, 4th, Hokage when the Kyuubi attacked the village. The ninja said. The Yondawa summoned toads. When did Naruto learn that? Shikamaru asked loudly. The ninja turned to him and looked at him seriously. What are you talking about? The only other person who uses toads is Jiraiya, the Gama, toad, Sennin, hermit. He's at the gates right now. The Chunin said. Well, apparently there is another because that's where Naruto is and he is fighting that thing. Shikamaru said. The Chunin and some of the civilians looked at him with shock before turning their attention back to the clash. Shikamaru just looked on with a multitude of questions. Where, when, who, where and why just came up in his head. He put that all in the back of his mind right now and prayed for his friend's victory. Gamabunta fired another ball of compressed water at Beast. It countered with a ball of compressed air. The two jutsu clashed, creating a swirl of wind and water that nearly tore the forest below them into pieces. Gamabunta looked at the demon who was laughing like a crazy man. This is not good, Naruto. When he gave control over to his demon, he has become stronger. If this continues, we will not be able to hang on. Gamabunta said. He was angry with himself. He had been out of practice for a while and it was showing. Naruto was also angry because he had no idea what to do. They couldn't let this demon win. That's when something happened. Kuchiyoza no Jutsu, a voice shouted. A large plume appeared and out of the smoke shot a large blue snake. It moved quickly and restrained Shukaku. What the hell is this? Shukaku roared and attempted to pry the serpent off. Holy shit, that's Nagai. That means, Naruto said, but he was cut off by a loud roar. Uzumaki, Naruto, what the hell do you think that you are doing? Anko's voice roared. Naruto was clearly terrified as his Oni-san has entered the fray. That will be it for this video. If you want more, comment down below, like, subscribe, and see you guys later.